Hey everyone, and welcome to Destination Love, our series that covers tips and tricks to help you navigate the treacherous world of dating online and beyond. I am your host, Ella Kay. I'm a certified dating and relationship coach that specializes in mindset and confidence. And so today we're going to talk about the top 10 first date pet peeves. And a lot of times, something we talk about in mindset and coaching in general is sabotaging yourself, self-sabotage. And so I think a lot of times these things are ways that we sabotage ourselves. So to make sure you're not sabotaging yourself on your first date or subsequent dates, we're going to go ahead and go through this list. Now, this list was actually compiled from your opinions. We polled our Instagram followers to get their feedback on what their first date pet peeves were. So we compiled the list and we are ready to roll. Number 10 is moving too fast. So if you're planning for the future on the first date, especially if you're voicing that you're planning for the future on the first date, slow your roll. Just enjoy the experience, relax, realize that it's a process, getting to know someone. As a female, I haven't had that happen a whole lot. I've only had, I think, maybe once or twice that a guy would say, well, how long do you think we need to date before we get married? Or, how long do you think before, you're ready to have kids? Which this was obviously a long time ago because I'm done having kids. But anyway, so number 10, moving too fast. Make sure that you are not sabotaging yourself by jumping to the future before the present has completed itself. Okay, number 9, being too looks focused. So everyone wants to feel appreciated for their appearance, but it is unnerving when someone seems to only be focused on your appearance. And this is probably a problem that faces females more than males, would be my guess. I have had this happen before where I'm talking and the person is just, you're just so beautiful. Someone told me once, you're just bright and shining like the sun. And I was trying to talk and have conversation about normal things, and it just kept coming back to appearances. So this is something that a couple of ladies brought up. They want to feel like they're appreciated for more than what's on the outside. Okay, number 8. This is one that we heard from a lot of men, and that is women getting drunk on the date. Some may think that sounds like a fun thing, but what this often leads to is embarrassing situations. I've had lots of men tell me about disclosures that they received from their dates after they'd had a bit too much to drink, things that you might not want to share with someone on a first date, especially, unless you want to sabotage it. Okay, number 7, being late. I haven't had this happen very often on a first date. I have perhaps if someone's, coming from work, but they've given me an indication they're going to be late, which I think is okay from time to time. But it's something that I've had happen on subsequent dates where someone just gets later and later and doesn't let you know. And the main problem with that is that it really makes the person you're seeing feel unappreciated and like their time isn't matter. That doesn't matter. So make sure that you try and schedule wisely for your date and that you arrive at the time you're supposed to. And if you let them know as far in advance as humanly possible and not, as the date's getting ready to start. Number 6, checking out other people. This can go two ways. One is obviously the one that we immediately think of, which is, checking out other people. The other thing is sometimes people will get very involved in what's going on at other tables, and they're so busy listening to the conversation at the table next to them that they aren't paying attention to the person across from them. I am a bit of a people watcher, but only if I'm with someone else who enjoys people watching. I try to control that, put on my horse blinders. If the person across from me is not also engaging in what's going on around us. Number 5, not talking enough. Okay, so if you're sitting with someone who's just staring at you Fortunately, I haven't had this problem, but probably because I have the next one that we're going to talk about. Um, so not talking enough. Make sure that if you get shy or get nervous on dates, that you have some conversation topics prepared ahead of time. It doesn't mean you need to go down your checklist and, well, I didn't talk about this yet, but at least have something in case the conversation starts going awkwardly silent. Number 4 is talking too much, and that's probably my issue. I talk way, way too much. Make sure that you give the other person an opportunity to speak. Try and ask questions. And that's something I'm not really good at. I'm not great at asking questions, and which is interesting because my undergrad's in journalism. But part of it is I don't like to feel like I'm putting people on the spot by asking questions they might not feel comfortable answering. So that's my issue. But talking too much makes the other person feel like you're not interested in getting to know them and that you don't care about what they may have to say. So make sure that you, same thing with having conversation topics prepared. Make sure that you are giving the other person a chance to speak. Something else that kind of falls into that is an issue that I've had once is interrupting. I had someone who was like every time I'd start to talk, he would just jump right in there and like it wasn't even like he was talking about what I was talking about. It's like he was, I don't know, it was really weird. But don't do that either. If you talk too much, at least don't interrupt. At least don't do that. I'm just excited and talk a lot. Okay, number 3. This is my personal number 1 pet peeve, but it ranked number 3 for y'all. Negativity. If you come and you're sitting down and you're talking about all the problems either in your life that have no solutions or you haven't bothered to try and figure out a solution, or if you find problems with everything in the restaurant or everybody in your life. I went on a date with someone once who, didn't get along with his mother. He didn't get along with his children. He started talking about all the people in his life that he didn't get along with. And to me, that was a sign that he was despite how nice he seemed, it was a sign there's probably some issues there that he needs to work through that don't involve me, unless he was hiring me as his coach. Number 2 is talking about an ex. This one was a huge one, especially talking negatively about an ex. And it's something that happens a lot, honestly. I personally don't really have problems with talking about an ex. Sometimes, even though I say I don't ask questions, sometimes you kind of want to know what's, happened in previous relationships as you're getting to know somebody, if it feels like that's a good flow of conversation. So I don't really mind someone talking about an ex, but if they're, bitter isn't good. Bitter doesn't feel good. It feels like they have some issues to work through that they need to do without me being there, maybe. I don't know. But talking about an ex in general doesn't really make the person across from you feel either safe with you or comfortable. Even if I have gone out with people who are like, oh, my ex was so hot or something like that. And that's that's really yuck. Please don't do that. So good, bad, whatever, just please don't avoid the ex talk. Okay, and the number 1, which I don't know that I've had this, but I know it is super common, is lying. Mainly lying, I guess, about who you are. And I've heard lots of stories about it where you get on the date and you show up and the person that you're meeting doesn't look like the person you thought you were talking to. Or they don't have the job that they told you they had or anything like that. If they've misrepresented themselves. And I totally take that back because once I had a date with a man and I got there and he had a wedding band on. Yeah, he left out that detail. So then I learned to ask when a man tells me he's separated if his wife also knows that they're separated. And in that case, that was a no. And that was our last date. But anyway, lying in a profile to get a date is always going to backfire when you get there. So Don't lie. Okay, it was a quick video today. Top 10 things that you do not want to do on a first date. As always, if you have any questions, hit us up, compass-date.com, and we'll see you for the next episode of Destination Love, where we will be talking about, what is the next one? Next one is deal breakers. Yeah, dating deal breakers. All right, thanks for joining us. See you next time.